Welcome to Podsauce, guys, your podcast discovery show. I'm Alesha Renee.
And I'm Dax Holt.
Alesha, I'm still
so
still far,
virtual.
but yet so close.
I do always like to see your little body right over the couch where you should normally be. It is weird not to have you next to me, though. It's strange.
Come reach out and touch me. I'm here.
Am I doing it right? I got you.
Wait. They're like, these freaking weirdos.
These people are so weird. Anyway.
Oh my gosh.
We got a good show, though.
It's see, we're in sync. We're in sync. Twinkie.
There we go.
At this point, we're the same person.
We are.
Okay, go ahead. Please,
As I've always said, I am the white male version of you.
Yes, 1,000%. I'm the black version of you. We're together. This is happening. Go ahead, guys. But you go ahead, D. Take it away.
Yeah, no, so we got a good show. I'm excited. We got on Leroy Luna. And I had never heard of his podcast. His podcast is Excuse Me, That's Illegal. So Angie brought this one up. I checked it out.
She did.
It's good. It's funny. The guy is...
Wait, what was the first episode you listened to?
Mine was about a grocery store getting robbed of like thousands of dollars.
This is hilarious. This is the first time that you and I got a podcast that we didn't know of beforehand, and we didn't pick the same
I know, right?
first episode.
Yeah, amazing. We're normally like, oh, I listened to the same one, so we got to talk about the same thing. But the guy, the way he delivers his stories, and so, true crime is so big out there, and he's doing like anti-true crime. He's doing small-time crimes. It's pretty awesome.
But it's really good. I like his perspective. I like his take. He has like such a deadpan humor way of like delivering his news. In my particular episode, I'm not sure if you had one in yours, but in my episode, there was also like a drink of choice and how to make it. Needless to say, because of the global panorama, I got a fully stocked bar. So I'm going to have to give that drink a try. But yeah, it was a really, really good one. So I'm looking forward to talking to Leroy Luna, host of Excuse, that is illegal. He picks those random voices too whenever he does his podcast. So that's a shout out to you, Leroy. I got you.
I love it. All right, guys, we have Leroy and so much more coming up on Podsauce. Stick around. All right, welcome back to Podsauce. I'm Dax Holt.
I am Alesha Renee.
And it is time to get into Alesha's pick of the week. Are you ready? You got a good one for me this week? I'm expecting some gold from you. No pressure. No pressure.
Not gold. Not while I'm out here doing my best. Well, I think you'll like it. I personally love it. My podcast pick of the week is actually a scripted podcast. I like to mix things up, and as the resident actor, I'm a fan of this one. So this one is called Unwanted, which is created by Lamar Morris. You guys all know him as Winston from New Girl, and Kyle Sherwin, who is a phenomenal writer and creator. This follows two slackers. It's actually starring Billy Magnuson. Did you ever see, one, I think it's called Fear. It's this new series on HBO. I want to say that's the name of his series. But anyways, the biggest one, Aladdin. So he played the prince. He played the prince in Aladdin.
In the new Aladdin movie?
Mm-hmm, with Will Smith.
Yeah, of course.
A phenomenal
I got
actor.
2 kids. Of course I watched the new Aladdin.
Of course you seen it. But just such a great actor, really great guy. Spent Thanksgiving with he and his brother recently, and it was such a good thing. But yeah, so it follows two slackers, Ben, played by Lamar Morris, and Grant, played by Billy, as they attempt to escape a convicted murderer to gain a prize of $1 million. And in the first episode, you may hear a voice that sounds familiar.
Are you in it, Leash?
I may be.
Are you in this podcast?
I may be, but it also, fans of New Girl will get a bit of nostalgia because it also has Jake Johnson. He's in there, and Quinn. What else? Who else? King Batch, he's in it. Just so many other amazing actors and talents, but it's such a dope concept. It actually is like #1 as far as scripted comedies on the podcast chart. So I really hope you guys check it out. For selfish reasons, obviously, we always got to rep the home team and put it down for our family. But Unwanted is my podcast pick of the week.
I haven't actually listened to like a scripted
Yeah.
show, and so I'm interested in listening to this. Now, with your episode, if I go to find your episode, do I have to listen to it in order, or can I listen to your episode and it's
No, it's a series, right? So
okay?
you want to listen, yeah, you want to listen to it in order because the way they did it, and they did such a beautiful, because when I was doing my part, I couldn't like see it in my mind because I wasn't familiar with a scripted podcast. I think Homecoming, which was a BBC original, and then as you know, Prime like acquired it and they created it into a series starring Julia Roberts. But that was like one of the first scripted podcasts that came to like my knowledge. And so when we did this, I was kind of having a hard time like putting it together, like how it would flush out. But they could totally create the space, like. The jingle is even amazing. I'm trying to remember the name of the guy that did the theme song. I can't remember, but it's set like in the 80s. It gives you that whole 80s, early 90s feel. They completely create the atmosphere. I play a bartender, and you can hear the ambiance. You can hear the atmosphere. I think hearing this podcast helped me to fall even more in love with podcasts because you find all the different ways that you can just put content out there and provide an escapism for everybody out there, and they audibly take you there. Like you can just hear it.
It's
So
like War of the Worlds on the radio back in the day. Take you there, you're taken to another level. And you're
it just
envisioning
reminds you of what is it? Talk radio back in the day, like how they used to do themed shows, scripted shows back in the day. So do check out Unwanted. I feel that you'll love it. That is my podcast pick of the week.
I love it. All right, and if you want to check out her podcast pick of the week, you can head on over to podsauce.com. We'll have the link there directly to the full series on probably the Odyssey app.
It is on the Odyssey.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everyone, to Podsauce, your podcast discovery show. I am excited to introduce to you guys our next host of Excuse Me, That's Illegal, Leroy Luna. Hello.
How you doing, everybody? Thanks for having me.
We're good.
Wait,
We're
is that
excited.
you and your dog in the background?
That's probably my chair or my kids. Sorry. I don't know, one of the two. Oh, you mean the picture back there? There's a picture of myself. That's a picture of me.
There's no dog in it? What's at the bottom? Is it on your shirt? No shirt in your picture.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my brother has a podcast too called Dark Topic, so I like to represent.
Oh, that's sweet.
Oh, nice.
That's sweet. Rep that brother.
Well, we're excited to have you, buddy. We've been checking out your podcast. I did not know what to expect going into your podcast, and it is hilarious. It is really a funny podcast, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is about low-level crimes. Like, you're not doing like the true crime like that's saturating the marketplace. You're doing supermarkets that are getting robbed or just petty crimes out there, and you're covering
the highly inappropriate sex acts in public places.
Oh, exactly. So you'd say like probably the pinnacle, like the top would be serial killers, mass murderers, that kind of stuff. I'm opposite, all the way at the bottom. More like breaking bylaws and stuff like that. You know, it's like debatable. Like the thing I found shocking was a lot of the people, like I end up liking the perpetrators just as much as the victims, really, right? Because they're people just like you and I who are maybe going through a rough day or they had too much to drink or a little bit of mental illness in there. But I mean, they're just regular people.
So how did you get the idea to cover the small petty crimes out there? Because I wouldn't even thought about it, because that's not necessarily what people are always into, but you do it in such a way that it pulls people in, and it's got quite a following already.
Yeah. Okay, well, originally, my brother has a podcast called Dark Topic, shout out. And he covers the hardcore murders and stuff, and he used to have me on his show as a guest occasionally. And I was like, yeah, I really like this, but there's so many podcasts out there. I need to think of something different. And it's kind of like, I kind of Google stuff like this to begin with. So it was nothing really new to me. And I thought, yeah, this would be like a good direction to go. So I just really rolled with it.
Does every episode have a recipe for a drink of choice, or was that something that you just integrate in particular episodes?
No, not really. I don't know. I just drink while I do it sometimes. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
just kind of goes along with it.
We all can drink. It's a party.
Yeah, I mean, this is my wife's office I'm in right now, but I do all the recording from the comfort of my closet, right? So I always say coming at you straight out of the closet. But like, yeah, I'm literally coming out of the closet because
Oh, I thought that was
that's
the
where I
bed.
record. Yeah, I got blankets all around there. It's a mess, really. But that's where I feel. I actually sit on a squatty potty. It's like my kids, they used it, it's like this far from the ground, right? It's super low to the ground, so it's a mess, but that's how I feel comfortable.
I was gonna say,
I'm laughing so hard because that's where I do my voiceovers, and I'm not on a squatty potty, but I'm like on one of those little stepping stools, so I'm imagining you doing like what I do in my closet, so that's why I'm laughing so hard.
what has been the funniest topic that you've discussed on your podcast or covered that is a crime that you're like, I can't even believe I'm recording this right now?
Okay, well, the second episode number 2, was the Mad Cooper. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that one.
Not yet.
But it was a female jogger in Colorado Springs. This was in the summer of 2017. So she targeted this one family's home numerous times, like 4 or 5 times a week for like a whole month. She would stop, pull down her pants, and take a dump on their front lawn. And like... There's a thing called runner's diarrhea, which is a real thing, right? Like It could happen. But this family, like they lived across the street from a park that had public washrooms. There was a gas station. So she was targeting this place. They have kids. Like the kids came out, walked out, and see this lady with her spandex shorts down around her ankles, right? and she would bring paper towel with her and wipe herself and carry on. And this... So the woman, she called the cops, and they're like, can you get a photo? Like, there's nothing we can really do here. So she took a couple pictures of the woman, like it was going around the internet, and she was never caught. Like, she did it for about a month. I guess it got too hot for her, and she just took off.
Like, why were I would say, like, run the sprinklers when you know she's coming around, but she probably would just look at it like a large bidet.
Yeah, you could shoot her with something. Yeah, I don't know, but
just squirt guns out there. Like a cat, like a little mister, like a shoot, get out of my yard.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, Charmin, the toilet paper company Charmin, they tweeted, they're like, if the Mad Pooper will turn herself in, we'll give her I don't know if it was a lifetime supply or a year supply of toilet paper to help out with her runs, they said in air quotes there.
Can you imagine, though, showing up to, like, Charmin headquarters and be like, I'm the one that's been pooping in everyone's yards.
I'm here for my tissue. You know why?
Yeah.
There's something about your Canadian accent that makes a story so much more charming, too. I love it. Where are you at in Canada?
I don't want to blow up my spot exactly, but I'm about an hour east of Toronto.
Okay.
So I don't even think of myself as having an accent, but yeah, all this weird stuff kind of comes. Same with people like, oh, I love your dad jokes. I'm like, dad jokes? What are you talking about? They're good jokes, aren't they?
They're Leroy jokes. But, you knock it off.
Yeah.
One of the things that you have in your podcast is you will actually read Yelp reviews of the location of where the crime was committed. How did you decide to do that? Because you were reading some of these Yelp reviews, and I was in tears laughing because of the way you're reading, like, hateful comments on Yelp about locations.
Yeah, I don't know. I get very sarcastic, too. But I think the first time, I was just trying to fill up time. I'm like, oh, this episode's only like 19 minutes. It took place somewhere. I'm like, oh, well, why not check out a couple reviews and see how that goes? And now it's like my favorite part of the show. I'm looking up reviews like all the time. So yeah, that's how it happened. And I like to just make goofy voices and stuff. So I feel like it helps because I'm there by myself, right? I feel like I want to mix it up. So I do what I can to mix it up like that.
You started the podcast in 2020. Was it because of the pandemic, or was this something that you'd wanted to do for quite some time, and then the pandemic just afforded you more time and opportunity?
Yeah, I hate getting grouped in with the pandemic people. I'm hoping, I think like a lot of people, it'll kind of fade out, right? It's people with their
But
buds like,
I
hey
don't say that
man,
as a bad thing, right? Because you were
yeah.
constructive with the pandemic versus me. I gained 30 pounds. I was not constructive. So
Yeah, I also like I work in a warehouse. I work midnights. Yeah, it's been business as usual with my actual job. So I don't have really extra spare time because of the pandemic or anything like that. Like it's always been, I've just been procrastinating. I had the idea for a few years, but it took me a while to like pull the trigger on it. That's all.
That's awesome. And so Leroy, is there any podcast that you personally listen to that you could recommend to our audience, things that you're enjoying, that you're like, oh, this is great, maybe it's an underground podcast that not a lot of people know about? Anything out there?
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, I shouted at my brother a couple times. Dark Topic, serial killers. He's the best writer I know. He's amazing. There's also heist podcasts. They cover a lot of heists. There are also a couple. There are a couple of Canadian.
Please tell me, is it just called Heist?
Yeah, Heist. Yeah, HEIST podcast. And they're actually both the guys are Canadian, Matt and Simon, but they actually live in LA, which is kind of cool, right? So it's like a combination where you guys are at and where I'm at. So
this heist podcast, is it multiple heists or is it one long story about a single heist?
Like one per episode.
Oh,
so they cover just different ones all the time.
Leash, do you watch Money Heist on Netflix?
no, but I heard it was amazing.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet either.
It is so
I got to
good.
get into that one.
All right, so I am in Heist Podcast. I'm checking it out. That is dope. All right. Well, if Leroy, thank you for joining us, man. I really do appreciate it. I wish you much success and luck on your podcast, which you don't really need because it's already blowing up and doing really, really well.
Hey, there's always more room in the minivan to pile in more people. And I wish you guys all the success in the world. I know you're just getting started too. I know you shouldn't have a problem though. You guys are awesome.
Thank you, Leroy. And if you guys want to check out Leroy's podcast or anything that we've talked about here on Podsauce, you can head on to our website, podsauce.com. We'll be right back. All right, this is Podsauce. Day's wrapping up, Leash. It's already over.
It's time to say goodbye.
Time to say goodbye, but you got something left for us, don't you?
One more little morsel of fun before I go, and a little bitty that we like to call, if you like this,
you like
you'll
that.
like.
I couldn't help myself, Leash. I couldn't help it. Even though you're not here in person, I still had to steal your second line.
You just got to steal my shine. Why won't you let me be great? Yes, as Dax so eloquently jumped in to help me out. If you like this, then we believe you'll like that. If you like the read, which you guys know, then we think that you guys will like, okay, now listen. Hosted by Sylvia Obell and Scotty Beam. It's sponsored by Netflix and Strong Black Lead, so they already got some really good backings. But basically, it's a bi-weekly show hosted by the two of them. They share what's on their minds, what they're binge watching, their take on what's going on in the timelines out here. You know, where we get all the real news in these interwebs. You know what I'm saying?
The interwebs.
In the interwebs where the real tea goes down. But yeah, we think that if you like the read, then you will like, okay, now listen. Some episode titles are, okay, call 1-800-HOT-GIRL. Very curious what that was. Okay, meet our mamas. And then, okay, truth is, it says we're tired, but what they meant to say was, truth is, we tired. Okay? We tired. We are thoroughly tired. But yeah, you guys make sure you check that out. I think that you will love it.
Awesome. Well, we'll check it out. And big thanks to Leroy Luna from Excuse Me, That's Illegal.
Wait, you see how I said it real black and then you said that real white? Excuse me. That is illegal.
Playing my role over here, you know?
All information, babe. We are all getting information. It's good.
All right, guys, if there's anything we talked about today that you want to know more about, make sure you sign up for our newsletter so we can just hand deliver it straight into your email box gently for you.
Very Very genteel.
Yeah, or head on over to podsauce.com. Obviously, we have all the links. Everything is up there. Anything we've talked about, Alesha's picks, my picks, any of the guests we've had on, it's all on the website. And make sure you follow us on social media at the Podsauce. I am Dax Holt. You can find me at Dax Holt.
And I am Alesha Renee, and you can find me at I am Alesha Renee. And also, please don't forget to tune in every Wednesday because we're dropping that new on you. I tell you, I'm going to do a jingle for every single thing. We're dropping new episodes every Wednesday, guys, so you definitely want to tune in for that. But until next time, thank you all very much for listening. This is Podsauce. Be good to yourself. Bye.